In today's video, we're going to continue our 2019 NHL Prospect Review, and we're looking at the top 5 prospects for the New York Islanders. We'll get into those prospects coming up next. So welcome back here to Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we're covering the top 5 prospects for the New York Islanders here today. And if you missed any of our other videos in this series, I'll put a YouTube card up here that you can go back and check out the current playlist. I believe this is video number 9 in this series, so there's all kinds of videos already published, and there's plenty more to come, so stay tuned for the remainder of this series as we cover the top prospects from around the NHL. Now, as we go through these top 5 prospects, keep in mind you will see a slide on the screen covering each player's biographical information, as well as a lot of their recent statistics. All that information is coming from EliteProspects.com, which is a terrific resource for all kinds of stats and information on the younger players from around the NHL and players that are currently drafted or waiting to be drafted into the NHL as well. It's a great site, so check it out if you're not already familiar. Now let's jump into the top 5 prospects here for the New York Islanders. First up, we have 2016 first-round pick Kieffer Bellows, who's now 21 years of age. He's 6'1", 194 pounds. Looks to be a pretty solid winger heading to the NHL. He is a second-generation NHL star, of course. His father, Brian Bellows, had a really successful NHL career. Now, Kieffer Bellows is what we'd call a skilled power forward who can certainly dominate games when he's got things going. Now, of course, prior to this year, he played in junior and college hockey, had some pretty reasonable amounts of success there. First year in the minors playing for the Bridgeport Sound Tigers was certainly a big adjustment for him. He put up 12 goals and 7 assists in 73 games, but before that, he really had much more success. He played a year of junior prior to that for the Western Hockey League's Portland Winterhawks, where he scored 41 goals and 74 points over 56 games. Of course, had a huge tournament at the World Juniors for Team USA, scoring 9 goals in 7 games in an absolutely dominant performance. He has the potential to be a pure sniper at the NHL. Before that, he did play a season of college hockey for Boston University, where he put up 14 points in 34 games, but really, overall, it wasn't the greatest season for him, and instead of returning to school, he elected to jump over to Canadian Major Junior League Hockey, instead getting himself ready for the pros, which ended up getting underway last year. And he did stumble a little bit, but I still have a lot of faith in this player. Like I said, has that potential to be a power forward, elite scoring winger at the NHL. He possesses high-end puck handling skills as well, and he has an incredible shot. He's also a very solid forechecker who's really good at winning puck battles, but stands out as a consistent part of his game. So he's not just a goal scorer, he's certainly a hard worker who can also play in other situations. Bellows is not afraid to drive hard to the net, and certainly not afraid to go to the greasy areas. I think he has that possibility to be a strong net front presence, strong power forward type of player that the Islanders could certainly use here. So we'll see if he can put together a stronger season at the American Hockey League this year and earn himself some call-up opportunities to the NHL either this year or maybe for next year. But the Islanders do have themselves a solid prospect here in Kieffer Bellows. Next up, we have a 2018 second-round pick, number 41 overall, is defenseman Bode Wilde. Now, he's now currently 19 years of age, originally born in Montreal, Quebec. Bode Wilde, certainly in my opinion at least, has a really strong possibility of making Team Canada for the World Juniors this coming year, so that should certainly be a great experience for him. During his draft year, he put up 41 points in 61 games playing for the United States National Team Development Program, and then last year jumped over to play a year of junior hockey in Canada in the Ontario Hockey League for the Saginaw Sprint, where he put up 19 goals and 70 points in 62 games. Doing that as a defenseman is certainly a phenomenal feat. So this guy continues to grow and develop with each coming year, but he certainly can be described as a talented, competitive defender who plays a really solid 200-foot game. His balance and acceleration are certainly noteworthy, and he's rarely caught out of position. He's really strong defensively and is always looking to take time and space away from his opponent. He erases the open lane, keeps opponents to the outside, and is a really physical presence back there on the blue line as well. Offensively, he has a hard, accurate shot with a very quick release. He can certainly take advantage of that on the power play. His strong skating ability, as well as his size and handling of the puck, also allows him to create a lot of time and space on the ice for himself, and he can certainly lead the rush to create offensive opportunities for his team. He's also a really smart player, and thanks to his quick thinking and making the high percentage decisions, he can be very difficult to read and to play against. Overall, to summarize Bode Wilde, he's a strong two-way D. He's got size, strength, good offensive instincts with an excellent low hard shot. Like I said, and he's certainly hard to play against in front of his own net. So overall, he's a complete package in my opinion, and should project to probably be like a second pair defenseman at the NHL, but likely going to be 1 or 2 more seasons before he makes his debut. Next up, we have 2018 first round selection taken number 11 overall, Oliver Wahlstrom. Now, Oliver Wahlstrom currently is 19 years old. He's 6'1", 205 pounds, and he has the potential to be a really high-scoring winger at the NHL level. 2 seasons ago, playing for the U.S. National U18 team under the USDP, he put up 48 goals and 94 points in 62 games. He then jumped to Boston College to play a year of college hockey last year, where he appeared in 36 games and put up 19 points. He did end up signing his pro contract with the Islanders at the end of the season and joined their American Hockey League affiliate at the end of the year, getting in 5 games and putting up 2 goals and 1 assist. He also had a pretty strong tournament last year as well for the U20 World Junior Championships for Team USA, where he put up 4 points in 7 games and overall had a pretty solid tournament. Overall, Oliver Wahlstrom is an instinct-driven hockey player, gifted with size, skating, skill, and the smarts that coaches love. Offensively, he's really hard for his opponents to contain. He's got a ton of confidence with his puck skills. He's an incredibly smart player with high hockey IQ, which certainly makes him difficult to play against. He's able to create opportunities as well as teammates out of nothing. Oliver Wahlstrom, in my opinion, does have the strong potential to be a really high-scoring winger at the NHL with top 6 potential written all over him. Next up, we have a 2014 third-round selection, and more than likely the goaltender of the future from Russia, Ilya Sorokin. Now, one thing that was obviously a little bit odd this year for the New York Islanders was the fact that they did not bring back goaltender Robin Lehner after the strong season that he had. Now, they've been waiting for Sorokin to come over from Russia to play in the NHL for quite some time now. As you can see, he's already 24 years old. He's been drafted for 5 years, but he's been playing over in Russia, and they've had a hard time convincing him, obviously, to come over. So that's why, in my opinion, why they let Robin Lehner go and sign Semyon Varlamov. They know each other quite well. They share the same agent, and I really think Lou Lamoriello here was trying to leverage that connection to help lure Sorokin over when his KHL contract expires at the end of the year. So there is a pretty strong possibility that Sorokin very well could be a New York Islander as early as next season. Now, in my opinion, he has a ton of potential and very well likely will be their goaltender of the future if everything works out. The only reason I don't have him down as the #1 top prospect is he's likely going to still be a year away from joining the team. So the top prospect I have likely joining the Islanders roster as early as this fall. But if you see the stats on the screen, the numbers that he's put up in the KHL have been absolutely ridiculous. Last year he played in 40 games, had a .940 save percentage, and an incredibly stingy 1.16 goals against average. Like, the numbers he's putting up over there is absolutely tremendous. After this year, Thomas Greiss will be an unrestricted free agent. So if everything works out, it would not be shocking to see them have a Russian goalie tandem for a few years down the road after the coming year with Semyon Varlamov and Ilya Sorokin. So be interested to see if he signs his contract and jumps over to North America, more than likely once this season is wrapped up for the coming year. But obviously playing for CSKA Moscow, he likely will have another deep playoff run and have a pretty good shot at winning another championship over there. But very well. But overall, Sorokin is a very intriguing prospect, has a ton of high-end potential. It's just a matter of getting him signed and getting him over to North America, which appears to be getting very close at this point. Next up, the #1 overall prospect for the New York Islanders, which I do expect to have in their lineup this year, is defenseman Noah Dobson, who was another 2018 first-round selection, taken number 12 overall. Originally from Summerside, PEI, Dobson's currently 19 years old. He's got great size, 6'4", 183 pounds. He's coming off back-to-back Memorial Cup titles in the Canadian Junior Hockey League. Obviously, this past year, he ended up getting traded to Rouyn-Noranda Huskies after his former coach and his previous team, the Acadie Bathurst Titan, went to coach the Huskies. Hey, he ended up following suit over there, and they won back-to-back championships. Certainly not a bad way for him to end his junior career. The year before that with Acadie Bathurst, which was his draft year, he put in 69 points in 67 games. The coming year after, which was the one that just completed, he put up 36 points in the final 28 games with the Huskies. Of course, played for Canada at the World Juniors and so went on to win another Memorial Cup. So his season was absolutely phenomenal. But Noah Dobson is a tremendous prospect defenseman, very talented two-way guy that can play in all situations, be very productive. He's a great skater, very smooth skater at that. He's getting stronger all the time and can play more of an up-tempo game. Offensively, he uses his sense of awareness in the right spots at the right time all the time, so he's always making good decisions out there. He's got soft hands and a deadly shot as well, and certainly has the potential to be a power play specialist at the NHL. He's also really strong defensively, and playing in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, which is a very high-scoring league. For him to be so strong defensively at that level tells me he will translate to being a strong defender at the NHL level, and in my opinion, he projects to be a top pair guy with a ton of upside. So I expect Noah Dobson to be in their lineup as early as this year, likely starting with a lower role, maybe second, third pair type of player, working his way up to potentially be a top pair guy in a couple of years' time after he gets some more experience. Now, the Islanders also have a few honorable mentions, and some of these guys really, I'm not sure we can call them prospects anymore because they do have some experience and have been really taking a long time to get their act together to become NHL players, like Josh Hosang and Michael Dal Cole, just to mention a few. They've also got 2019 first rounder Simon Holmstrom as well, another pretty solid looking player as well. So they do have a pretty deep prospect pool, lots of interesting guys coming down the pipe here. So it'll be interesting to see if some of those other players, like I said, like Hosang and Dal Cole, can finally grab a regular spot. Personally, I see Josh Hosang more than likely moving on to another team. I'm surprised he hasn't been traded as of yet to get a fresh start with another team to see how things can go. So let me know what you think of these New York Islanders prospects. Which ones do you think will have the most impact on this team long-term as well as shorter term? And stay tuned for the remaining prospect videos coming in this series here very shortly. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.